As we are live, and here's my second to last guest today, the lovely Nichola O'Hara, who I met through a Facebook group that we were both part of, and we had a chat. And then, yeah, you took that time to think about it and wait until your life was right, which is so important especially when it's in-person stuff, which is another reason for me to creating the online courses, is because you can get them and then do them in your own time. And we were just discussing that before we came on live. And then you came to my 2-day workshop, which was online.
Yeah.
Which was my flagship workshop that I have run now since 2015. And that is the course that I was resistant to putting it live online, but of course situations last year meant that I either ran it or didn't. And that is also part of why I realized I could put it into a self-study online course. And Nichola also was one of my amazing beta testers, giving me fabulous feedback to make those tweaks, to make it much more user-friendly. And Nichola was one of the beta testers for the free Your More Confident Voice, which is the last one of the 3. So welcome, Nichola. Thank you. You've been through a massive shift in this last year. So finding... So we were speaking about this just before. It's like some people are really confident people and very much don't have a problem sharing their voice. And then situations change and you suddenly go, this is all right, but I feel like I need a tweak. And that's kind of where you were at, isn't it? When you came to doing the work with me.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in my corporate job and I decided to leave that and go full-time in my business. And I just found that I suddenly wasn't as confident anymore in my voice. Now, in my corporate job, I was head of learning and development and recruitment. Since I was talking to lots of people, I've been on lots of stages. I would be delivering training all the time. So not really having a problem being in front of groups, but suddenly going out on my own, I found that, I'm not talking through that corporate veil anymore. I'm not talking through, having that backing of being part of a corporate entity and my voice from that. And I've got to talk as myself. And that I think threw a few lots of mindset things that I needed to deal with. And I remember being a little bit resistant to it. I think when we first spoke, we were talking about what I needed to do and how we could work together. And I was like, I'm quite confident. Yeah, I'm really quite confident at, public speaking, and not really, I've been doing it for 20 years, but actually doing the course has just been mind-blowing, really has. I really needed to dig into those mindset issues, things that were holding me back, those blocks that just really, I didn't know were there, but were just, stopping me.
That's one of the hardest things about what I do, because lots of people, and maybe some people watching these, might be like, yeah, well, I'm okay, I'm fine, and I'm quite confident. I don't really have any problems with it. And then you just kind of go, well, when like you had to do a changing situation, and that's when we're talking about something, it's us. It's not suddenly the business or the corporate, or it's suddenly, this is me and it's mine, and that suddenly feels a lot more vulnerable. And it's like, no, I'll just push on through it.
Exactly.
Instead of pushing on through it and knowing what you're working with makes it so much easier.
And I've been procrastinating over putting this podcast out. And I kept saying, I'd even done an internal podcast where I'd been working. So I thought even if it was new to me, I'd done podcasting before, I kind of knew the technology. And something was stopping me doing this. And so I kind of came into, I know when you run the course, you say you focus on one thing that you really get right. And that's what I did for that 2-day course. I focused on getting that podcast out there, and then I did straight afterwards, which was
good. So go and drop the name of your podcast, because people might be watching who might want to know.
Oh yes, it's called Powering Your Passion, and I work with multi-passionate but unfulfilled professionals, people in corporate jobs. to help them free themselves from their current situation and find a career that gives them the purpose, meaning, and impact they want. So powering your passion is all about how you do that. So the tools, techniques, stories, inspiration every week, just to get that message across and to help people make that change.
So now you're sharing your voice fully and completely and freely.
Exactly.
So obviously you did the 2-day live with me online course, and then you beta tested the free Your More Confident Voice, which is some of the deeper stuff we do on that course. So the Finding Your Voice course is the one that comes before it, which is more the brain, body, breath, pace, pitch, posture, projection. So you did the course where we've got what I call my gold exercises. So,
so much fun.
How did that work for you, and what were there any surprising benefits to you of having it on a self-study online course?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I sort of said yes to doing it partly because I really want you to get more, you're teaching out in the world even more than it already is. But also a little selfishly, I wanted to actually run through it again because I'm now getting on these kind of virtual stages, and I'm also planning to launch my own digital course. So I really wanted to actually reinvestigate all those things you talked about. And that it was fantastic to be able to do that. So to test it for you, but also to go through it all over again. And what I found was brilliant in difference to, because a lot of the same material, it was the same material as the 2-day course, was the ability to be able to sort of pause, take things in, work longer on things than maybe when you're in a group situation, you go as fast or as slow as the group, and you can kind of go through the bits that you're kind of confident on and then go slower on the other bits and rewind and go back. And now I have it, I know I can dip in at any time if I've got something coming up to remind me of those exercises. It's not just like you have the handouts that you go away with when you go to a face-to-face or a live course. You can just always go back to those things that maybe you just didn't quite take in, because there's so much to take in that you always say with a course you come away with maybe 2 or 3 main things you take away, and you might forget some things, but there was things that when I went through it again, I thought, I can't really remember focusing on that when I did the 2-day course. Whereas now I can go back and really kind of investigate those things again. So I think it's just fantastic to both do the 2-day kind of live course, but also having this as a reference to go back to. And I do. And I have to say, I do use your handouts before I go live or before I record. I just keep that little toolkit ready to keep me on track.
Oh, that's so exciting to know. I love that, because and this is the thing, when you're like you with your podcast, this now, you never know what people are picking up that you're putting out there. Yeah. And you just have to trust, and that's what I just trust. It's like, well, and we provide different things for different people, and like you said, sure. Teresa earlier today, she said the same thing as you. When it comes to, I allow time in the workshops for people to write, but because some people are scribes and some people are bullet pointers, you've got to hit that middle ground. And yes, she said the same as you. She said, it's great, you can just pause it and do that exercise, write for as long as you want. Exactly. Before you then go, oh yes, and carry on with that lesson. So
yeah, you can also be as silly as you want in some of the exercises you do. Like I was doing the geyser exercise all around the rooms by myself, but it was fun.
We love the geyser. And for those of you watching going, what's the geyser? Because I've mentioned the geyser a couple of times. You just have to find out. It's one of my favorite exercises that I created that does push people out of their comfort zone, but really works. And actually, that's something that a couple of people have said today as well. So I wanted to ask you about that. Is, did you find when doing the course, when I invited you to stand up and do things with me, was that like, how was that for you? Was it like, actually, yes, I have to stand up and do it? Or was there a part of you going, I'll just sit here and watch?
No, I really wanted to get, because I think if you get a course and you put money down for a course, you want to get the best out of it. And that you do need to do these exercises and actually get involved in them to actually get the best out of it. And I knew that obviously from the 2-day course. So there wasn't really any time. I did get in there, and you know, you feel a bit silly at first, but you know, no one's seeing you, which is the beauty of it. So you can just be as silly as you want, and really get into it. So I didn't really feel like I wanted to sort of sit and just watch at all, to be honest.
So we see the message coming through from everyone I'm speaking to today. Mm-hmm. Get up and do the exercises because they work.
They do. They really, really do.
So I'm hugely grateful for you sharing your time today. And before we go, just if there were a word or two that would come to you to describe the impact that it's had for you since doing the course, either the 2-day one or supporting it with now having done the online one, what would those words be?
What immediately springs to mind is freeing, and you know, just freeing, I suppose, my voice, but also my confidence as well in what I'm doing and my message and how I say things, and just really, you know, it's given me that freedom to speak and to put my message across, and dealt with some of my demons, to be honest. I just think that is the main thing I think that comes to mind.
Wow. So there we go. Freeing. And I do say, when you liberate your voice, you liberate your life. So if you're watching this, it is now 11 minutes past 4, which means you have 2 hours and 49 minutes to get them at the stupidly low rates that they are. So either do that, or if you're catching this later, they're going to go up a little bit at 7 p.m. For 48 hours, because I have just turned 48. So for 48 hours, they'll be at another little price before they go full price. So as long as you're watching this before 7 p.m. UK time on the 7th of October, you will still be getting an absolute bargain. And quite frankly, if you're watching this after then, the value is immense anyway. So
it's still a bargain. Yeah, it's still a bargain at full price.
The price that Nichola said that I should be charging for just the final course is actually the full price for all 3. So it's kind of 3 for the price of 1 if you look at it like that.
Exactly.
Yay. Thank you so much, Nichola. Thank you, social media world. I will be back with my last interview at 6 o'clock. Keep sharing, keep posting, keep sharing the love. And if you're vaguely interested, the clock is ticking. I'd get them now. Thank you so much, Nichola. I'm just going to end the broadcast.
Thanks, Judith.
I'll say goodbye. So
good to see you.